Good afternoon, everyone. This is so exciting. So when Mr. Monts gives us this amazing opportunity, obviously we say, yes, thank you for making our lives easier. Anyways, Mr. Monts says to talk about Frankenstein, so I'm gonna talk about Frankenstein. I guess because of the, I want to say lengthy, but it's not really. I feel like we haven't had enough time to talk about Frankenstein, considering how many things there is to talk about. I think I'd rather say that, we weren't able to talk about everything. Because we did talk a lot on the philosophical side of Frankenstein, which is completely fine. I enjoyed, actually, at some points. Wondering about the, moral ambiguity of all the characters. Not all of them, but most of them. And I think that's just in general what Mary Shelley wants, is for us to contemplate what it means to be good, what it means to be evil. So I think in that, a lot of our discussions were a success, even if we didn't always talk. I think they helped kind of help us realize how frustrating it was reading Frankenstein, because it's like, do I like Frankenstein? Do I dislike him? Is the creature good? Is it bad? In my opinion, and I didn't really share this in class the other day, I don't know where I stand on the creature, because I don't feel bad for it because of its actions, but I feel bad for it in the way that I understand why it did those actions, if that, obviously that makes sense. But I can't excuse its actions, so therefore I don't really think of the creature as good, but I can, the actions make sense because of what led up to them. Ooh. What else? There's a lot to talk about. It was a little funny in class whenever Mr. Monts just whenever Elizabeth was brought up, and he was like, oh, if you're gonna just bring her up to mention that she's his cousin, don't. But I mean, I get it, because from a modern view, you're like, cousins getting married? Ooh. But I guess back then it was normal. And honestly, I really don't see the, romance between them anyways. All I can really see is, just how close they are as family. That's kind of all I had ever thought of them as. And it was kind of unexpected to me whenever they got married. I was like, there's not plenty of other women or anything in the world. What else? I really did love the language in Frankenstein. I said that in the discussion I had to make up, but dude, it's just written so good. First to talk about the book, and I don't know what to talk about. I'm trying to think over the test, because there were some parts that I struggled on, and I'm a little scared of. I know one of them was specifically the parallels between them, and I think that was really between Frankenstein and his creation, and I think that's really interesting, because a lot of they share a lot of the same struggles, and then they share a lot of the same, like his prompt said, not to copy Mr. Monts or anything, he is a very good example. Sorry, I'm glazing. Kicking my feet. But no, they have a lot in common, but they're also completely different. And honestly, whenever I answered one of the short response questions, I kind of went off topic a little because I was rushing. But what I had kind of said was that their fates are kind of intertwined, and that's kind of what I had seen them as, obviously, because you've got the creator and you've got the created. So it's like, and it's again that kind of that concept of fate, and like, I say fate, but it's like these choices led to this, which led to this and this and this. So it's like I'm not gonna say butterfly effect, but it's something akin to that in the way that I hope CJ doesn't hear me. Anyways, they're kind of similar in the way that, not similar, they're related in the way that, because Frankenstein went on this journey for knowledge, he went, on this, like, quest for scientific, I forgot what the word used was. I don't know. He just wanted to further his career and then his knowledge and experience in the field of science. Because he did this, obviously this led to a very impassioned, sorry, but anyways, because of this, obviously he creates this monster, without any regards for any moral or ethical, reasonings, which you said 50 billion times on the test. Did this contribute to the story? Anyways, it's like, he goes on this quest for knowledge. He creates the creature, but doesn't think of, like, the moral repercussion, or the repercussions of making this creature that is, in that sense, taboo. This creature that wasn't supposed to be made, that kind of goes against every belief, a lot of beliefs, ever. And then, obviously, he abandons it and lets it roam the streets. And because of that, that leads to the creature being, like, alone. But he also, because of that isolation, which, by the way, Victor shares, but that's because he, like, tosses the entire world aside in his pursuit. But anyways, in that same sense that the creature is isolated, it's kind of like, it's less, the creature is isolated for a different reason that Frankenstein is isolated. Frankenstein is isolated from the world because he chooses to be. He's isolated because he chooses to live outside his society at that moment, whenever he is kind of chasing that, chasing this idea. But the creature is just, like, completely ostracized from society. It has no choice but to be isolated. So it's like, because this creature is forced to live outside of this world, it leads to this also passionate pursuit of knowledge in the way that it wants to fit in, and it wants to survive in this world, and it wants to understand the people around him. And in a way, I feel like it also wanted to understand Victor Frankenstein in the way that, like, I would want to understand why someone abandoned me. Because, like, does that not make sense? I shouldn't do that. Anyways, I actually really like Frankenstein. I was kind of surprised because before reading Frankenstein, everyone knows about Frankenstein. But I was sort of disillusioned in, like, what it was about, if that makes sense, because, like, obviously I didn't know the plot, really, besides, he made this monster. But seeing the writing style, and seeing how, like, not persuasive, but how it made the reader, question everything with how it was structured and how it was written, and the narrative, I think, was really fun. I really enjoyed Frankenstein. Thank you, Mary Shelley, and thank you, Mr. Monts, for giving me this opportunity.